Welcome to Mindfully Integrative Podcast with your host, Dr. Damaris G. Mindfully Integrative is a podcast discussing ways toward mindfully incorporating integrative health into our lives. This podcast will have informative resources, fun topics, interviews, and discussions relatable for today with a true mindful perspective in a mind-body, holistic life approach.
Hi, so this is Maria Grossman, and we're talking about weight loss and the weight loss plan when you are working on your weight management and may also be on a GLP-1 medication. So how does that look? So just because you're on weight loss medications does not mean that is the whole story. So when you come to my clinic or if I meet you online and we're discussing your weight loss journeys, what does that kind of look like and what is that for you? So initially, as I tell individuals, weight loss is a process. So it's not something that's just overnight. It's actually a long-term obesity medicine. It's actually chronic due to inflammation within the body and the way your genetics are. And I even have a whole course on this talking about it. But the main criteria really comes down to understanding that you have to learn how to manage this for yourself and also how your hormones change, how trauma and inflammatory and infections can be part of the equation. So let's just talk about what would be my initial key things to weight loss. So when you eat less, you move more, you'll lose a little bit of weight. Okay, just a little bit. If you take medication, it will suppress your appetite. If you take some supplements, they'll suppress your appetite. So in one part, but to gain and lose fat, I say that you need to have more protein in your diet. So each client and individual, I recommend between 15 to 20 grams of protein per meal. So that's give or take at least 60 grams a day. I mean, I'd love it to be about 100. So say you're about, your weight is 200. If you can get to at least half of that, that would be great. But, anywhere between 60 grams to 90 grams a day, that would be so paramount. Now, if you're trying to be on these medications and concerned about losing muscle, I'd say you eat less, you move a little bit more, you eat more protein, and you do some strength training to gain some muscle. It doesn't have to be excess, but that'll help regain your skeletal muscle. Key to all of this is electrolyte-based water or drinks, about 6 glasses a day. And that could also be foods that you get your water from, like watermelon, kiwis, quality hydration, not just water. You put a little electrolytes or a little pinch of salt in there, and that gives you some quality electrolytes. Additionally, I highly recommend at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep, but I want it to be quality. But what is that for you? Making sure what your sleep hygiene is going to be the best environment for you. How do you do that? Go back to look at some of my previous podcasts on sleep hygiene and how to make sleep part of your weight loss journey and you're just feeling good about yourself and where you're at this moment. And making some quality connections and relationships, whether that's with your spouse, whether that's with your friends, family, even just colleagues and other people that you meet. How can you meet individuals to help connect with so that you can be on this health journey together? Birds of a feather flock together. So when you find yourself around individuals that have the same goals, you'll find yourself to maintain and manage this. So for me, this is lifestyle because this is the way I believe my life to be. I want to have my fuel and my food as medicine. I want to eat so that my body is at its high balanced self. And that varies for everyone. But when you go down to some key principles, you can do so much for yourself. So that and right there is big. Yes, and it's an individual approach. So someone's diet and culture is going to be a factor. But, really when you go down to more whole foods, you don't get anything too boxed, more lean proteins or lean protein options for you as if you're vegetarian, quality fats in your diet, portions, more veggies, more whole grains, more protein. If you're on an anti-inflammatory protocol, really modify the amount of legumes and anti-inflammatory foods. We'll go in that on another topic. Always avoid refined excess sugar, processed foods. A treat for yourself should be available, but not every day. Understand, new ways to make the foods that you love and still have those times together with your family, but really find modifications and ways so that you can have the best life possible. Again, hydration, always key. I can say half your body weight, but that doesn't have to be that. At least about 6 glasses of water with a little pinch of salt in there for some electrolytes so that that water really goes back into the cells and, gets you to where you know. Now, when I talk about what it is to eat, I don't just mean rice, potatoes, and, one vegetable. Look at foods in the rainbow. Think about colors. Think about what you can put into your diet that'll be delicious. So red, strawberries, apples, that builds the phytonutrients. So our red apples, strawberries, raspberries, red potatoes, red wild peppers, watermelon, orange. Think of like grapefruit, oranges, carrots, tangerine, sweet potatoes, builds up the beta carotene, butternut squash, yellow, bananas, pineapple, corn, lemon, peppers, summer squash, green, broccoli, green peas, snap peas, green apple, zucchini, kale, all the greens are good. Blue and purple, blueberries, blackberries, purple grapes, purple potatoes. And then minimize on the excess fats from dairy and, modify the amount of red meat or limit the amount of excess fatty foods. I don't think all meat is bad. It's just a matter of modifications. And if you have additional questions, of course, reach out to me and follow the podcast or our videos on YouTube with Mindfully Integrative. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk with you soon. So make sure each one of your days is mindful, each and every day. Thank you for listening to the Mindfully Integrative Show with Dr. Damaris Maria Grossman, family nurse practitioner. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not the substitute for professional medical advice, diagnose, or treat. Always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your healthcare routine. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you enjoyed our show, please support us by leaving a mindful review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite streaming platform. Interested in being a guest or more information? Email us at info@mindfullyintegrative.com. For resources mentioned in the show, visit our website at www.mindfullyintegrative.com. You can also connect mindfully with Dr. Damaris on her social media links found on the site. May your strength and peace guide you to find a mindful way every day. Namaste.